Kevin's secret sauce these years is artificial intelligence. So
Yeah, yeah,
are you
yeah.
going to drill a little AI onto this and fix the problem, Kevin?
Well, I'm not going to. Everyone else is. It's happening right now as we
Yeah.
speak, and
Yeah.
um,
And are you happy or unhappy about that? Or
I
you,
am happy, but I recognize the fact that AI, because it is going to be the most powerful technology in our lives, will also be powerfully abused. That is
Mhm.
the rule. It's going to be it's going to make the most powerful new problems that we have, and some of
Mhm.
those will be the fact that it can be misused, and so we will have to figure out how to do that. And there's people thinking about AI safety and AI alignment, and they're
Mhm.
all good. I'm glad they're there, um, but this issue of like going back to the bots, I'm 100% with you, John, that we should have true names only. People who are speaking as humans should be really human. Um, but that doesn't, and we shouldn't be mixing, or we shouldn't be confused by things that are being generated by AI. But
Mhm.
lots of times this is going to be a partnership, and that's where it's going to get really hard to kind of manage, because looking at, say, AI generating art, um, most of the really good artists are going to be using AIs as tools, and these will be partnerships. And so
Mm.
unraveling that degree is going to be very, very difficult for us as a society to do it, and we'll have to invent new tools to do it. But in general, I think I don't. I'm not saying that I think AI is a solution to the social media problem. I didn't say that. I think that other basic things like we just talked about, like demanding that people be true names and verifiable.
Mhm.
I mean, even in
Yeah.
Twitter, I would like to have a function where I would only be able to see and retweet blue check marked real
Mhm.
people.
Yeah. Real people. That's right.
Real
That'd be
people.
huge.
That would be
That's right.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Now, these are the sorts of architectural changes that I think are important. I've got another one for you because your question was, will the technology help us or will it save us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite possibly. So I've just gotten involved recently with what's called Project Liberty. If you go to projectliberty.io, it's an initiative started by Frank McCourt, who founded the McCourt School at Georgetown, and it's a proposal for an architect, a Web3 based architecture on which people could build applications and businesses, where it would be sort of automatic that people can control what they give out. People retain ownership
Mhm.
of their own information. With
Mm,
currently with Web 2, once the information is out, you can't get it back.
mm,
But I'm just beginning to learn about this, but I think this is the sort of innovation, the sort of like, not just like what are we going to change in Twitter, but what could we change in the underlying
yeah.
architecture of the entire technium,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that it's easy to build applications that are healthy and good for democracy. And it's harder to build exploitative, manipulative ones.
Right.
So, look, Silicon Valley is incredibly smart. Tech people are incredibly smart. Now, they do tend towards Asperger's and autism. And this is important. This is not an insult. This is just a fact about different minds having different talents. And so the kinds of minds that were so brilliant in
Hmm.
creating these tools are also the kinds of minds that are least likely to understand the nuances of social interaction and the difficulties that their products are causing for social
Hmm.
interaction.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think we need neurodiversity in Silicon Valley, but ultimately, yes, there is real hope that that tech suitably, enmeshed in teams of people and ideas and political diversity and neurodiversity, really could come up with game-changing architectures that bring us to this promised land. I'm
Hmm.
with you guys that the tech could, in theory, give us the best societies ever, the best democracies ever. That could happen. It's not going to happen in the 2020s, but maybe it'll happen in the 2030s. Maybe it won't be till the 2090s. I don't know. It's in theory possible. And then our challenge, and it's actually, I know I'm very pessimistic, but when I try to end talks on an optimistic note, what I find myself saying is, um, we have a chance to matter. Like the things that we do, the decisions we make, the choices we make, and how we use technology and where we invest our money and how we treat people, the choices we make now can have more of an influence on the future than I would say at any point since maybe the 1930s or early
Hmm.
1940s.
Hmm.
This is a turning point in history. It's actually very exciting. It's frightening, but it's also very exciting. And
Do
it
you
could
agree with
turn
that, Kevin? Is this a
Absolutely.
turning? You
Absolutely. I
think
think
this is a turning point in history?
Yes, I think this is.
Wow.
I mean, we have the convergence of all these. What um, Robert Gordon would say, once in a lifetime, once in the planet's histories, we have these headwinds or no, tailwinds of AI, ubiquitous AI, ubiquitous universal connection, where for the first
Yeah,
time we have 8
we're
billion
like
people
bees now for the first time ever.
connected together. We have the urbanization, the almost a total urbanization of the planet, which is really great news for so many things.
Mhm.
And we have these accelerants going on with the YouTube of learning and disseminating science. And so, and we have other ones. We have one challenge, which in the long term is the population implosion.
Right.
But other than that, I think that this moment will be looked back on as an amazing time to be alive, because it's really just the beginning of all these things. And so I'm 100% that our decisions make a huge difference. And that's one of the things I would say. I wrote the book, The Inevitable. What's inevitable are some of these things coming along. What's not inevitable is the character of them, who owns them, how they're
Yeah.
controlled, how they're regulated, what role they play. Those are choices that we have, and they make a huge difference. And so I'm totally with you, John, on this moment and trying to make the best of it right now for the next
Well, let
generations
me
coming.
let me put the problem a little differently to you, John. What if it's turning points from here on in?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And the acceleration keeps sort of re-impacting itself. Humanity does actually collectively figure out how to either manage or live with climate change. Um, and civilization just keeps cranking on. It doesn't slow down. There's parts that slow down, like North Korea or like Spain once did, but most of it just is increasingly global and increasingly increasing. Uh, what's what is the mode to negotiate and find a way to live that way
Yeah,
collectively, if any?
yeah. So that's what the book I'm writing now, is about. The title of the book is "Life After Babel:
Hmm.
Adapting to a World We May Never Again Share." And so, what if it's not like cycles where what if it's like this,
Hmm.
and it just keeps getting faster and
Right.
faster,
Right.
and I guess that's the singularity. Um,
Hmm.
one of the features of this speeding up is that we can't share stories anymore. There's no common understanding. When 9/11 happened, there was a general understanding that we were attacked by Al Qaeda, and that's probably the last time that will happen.
Hmm.
We can't. With the current technologies, everything is shredded. Social media is good at creating little micro bubbles of meaning, but we'll never again, or not never again, in the next 5 or 10 years, we're not going to have any ability to have shared stories. And if you tell me that, well, what if it's this? I would say that we would be so far surpassing the speed limit on human sociality. We
Yeah.
we can't adapt to change that fast. Now, there's personality differences. Progressives like more change. Conservatives like slower change. That's the wisdom of Edmund Burke, and I actually think Edmund Burke is somebody that everybody should read today. So we might say that, progress, let's go faster and faster. But I think the conservatives are right that social order is very hard to build, very easy to destroy. And right now we're destroying it right, left, and center. There is very little respect for institutions, for democratic institutions, epistemic institutions, journalism, science. So if you tell me, what if it's just going to keep going faster and faster? I would say, well, now it's like, what if we've gone over Niagara Falls and there's no bottom? It's just falling faster and faster how water comes over and then it divides up into droplets? What if it's just smaller droplets moving faster forever and ever, and that's it? That is a vision of hell. For Emile Durkheim, my favorite sociologist, that is anomy or normlessness. Just constant change, no community, no ability to even understand what we're doing. That's the metaphor of Babel.